Good evening, honored guests, regular guests, and most of all, the graduating class of 2024. You guys made it. Congratulations. You know, I'm humbled to be here. Seriously, you're all way smarter than me. And big shout out to those of you rocking extra Latin, the little dots next to your name. That's super cool. Way to flex. I didn't have any of those next to my name. But I did surprisingly well. I was able to cram 4 years of school into 5. When Dr. Corey asked me to speak, I thought, what have you geniuses not heard over the past 4 years? I did some math. You did 160 chapels, unless you slid and glid. I don't know if that's still a thing. And 1,800 hours of classes. It's pretty crazy. So I have something just simple to offer you. It's a 3-step guide for world domination. Step 1. Prepare for rejection. So how many of you actually remember your first visit to Biola campus? I remember it, and I was actually standing right over there. I see people in the back that are standing on the steps of the library. That's where I was when I decided that I wanted to go to Biola University. And you know, what made me sold on the school wasn't the film department's closet full of gear, or the CAF's all-you-can-eat pizza, or the school ratio of 3 girls to 1 guy. No. I came to Biola because on this campus, you could ride a scooter to class. And I'm told that's not really a thing they want to be promoting anymore because you don't do it, but it was super cool back in my day. I just wanted to be a gazelle, you know, sprinting across the savannah to get to class. And sadly, that dream of being a scooter riding film major was completely destroyed and shattered because I got this rejection letter to film school. And, you know, looking back, it's clear for me to see how God used that rejection from film school to prepare me for the future. But in the moment, it was really painful, it was humbling, and to be honest with you guys, I had a good deal of pride to work through during that time in my life. And if it weren't for that rejection, however, I also wouldn't have stumbled onto a brand new website at the time called youtube.com. And to give you a little context, you graduates were, I estimate, about 6 years old. But your parents will remember this. The iPhone had been out for like a year, barely. Netflix still mailed DVDs in red envelopes, and apps like Instagram were yet to be invented. Rejection, you know, for me did 2 things. First, it forced me to pivot my plan and led me down an unexpected path. And that's what YouTube was for me. And secondly, rejection will force you to confront this question, who are you? You know, what is your identity really in? If it's not filmmaking, I wasn't a filmmaker, who was I actually? And I had to confront that. You know, you've been students for many years now, but I wanted to just tell you guys, you know, you've been in class for almost your whole life, but your identity is not being a student. It's probably not what you want to hear after you spent all this money on school, but you actually seriously don't need to have a degree to be enough. You guys are enough because you're children of God, with or without the degree that you just got. In this next season of your life, you're gonna get a ton of rejections. I don't mean to be a bummer about this, but I'm 10 years out, not that far ahead of you guys, and I can tell you, I don't think they're stopping. So I've had so many rejections. I wrote this really neat book about it, but the publisher said no. But now that you're prepared for rejections, we can move on to step 2. Okay, are you ready for step 2? It's to gamble on yourself, because you don't gamble here. By gamble, I mean bet on yourself, to take a risk. I want to tell you the story when I was sitting in your very seats at graduation. You know, I was kind of lying to my friends and family because I was like, I'm good, I know what I'm doing. But I can tell you guys, I pretty much had zero plan. And I was not confident in my career choice because YouTube was not really a career choice. And everyone kind of reminded me of that. But all my friends were going off to the film industry. CMA, graduates, let's go. A lot of you guys are going off to the film industry. You know, you guys are going off to the film industry, and that was me. All my friends are going off, but I'm sitting in a garage in La Mirada, still making cat videos, and I was barely making enough money on YouTube to pay rent with 10 other guys and pay for my daily lunch, which was the Albertsons chicken wing special for $2.99. I was dating a girl at the time that I really liked, so you can imagine it was really awkward when I met her father for the first time, who was like, "So, you make YouTube videos for a living?" And he was, somewhere between comical disbelief and legitimate concern. But now he's my father-in-law. Hey, Joel. He's watching the live stream. A year had passed since my graduation. I was still doubting my job as a YouTuber, and then I get this unexpected job offer. And they want me to go work for the Discovery Channel, to go move out to Washington, D.C., to be a producer, and get this, it had a 6-figure job salary. So I was 100% in, that was my thing. So it sounded great, did the interviews, and in my final interview, the guy asked the standard question, which is like, "Do you have any questions for me?" And at that point, I should have been like, "Nope, sounds great, I'll take the job." But I actually weirdly just decided to lay out everything that was on my heart. And I was like, "Yeah, I have this YouTube thing, and I just don't know. Your money sounds awesome. I want the job, but and his answer really surprised me. He said, "That sounds kind of cool. You should risk it. What if you take a chance on yourself?" And maybe he just didn't want to hire me. I don't know. But I ended up declining the job afternoon, had so much peace about it. And I don't know about all of you out here on the lawn, but I'm kind of slow. I see God's timing way after the fact, and that I can connect the dots. But a few weeks later, looking back, I posted my first video on Vine right after that interview, and it changed the trajectory of my career like I could have never imagined. All of a sudden, I was taking selfies with fans while I was trying to eat the Albertsons chicken special. If I hadn't taken a chance on myself or bet on myself, I would have never stumbled onto Vine. If you're gonna gamble, don't do it in a casino. Bet on yourself. Take big risks on that one thing that you really want to do, the one thing that only you can do, not the thing that you think you should do or the thing that you think your family wants you to do or your friends are doing. Do what you want to do and take a bet on that for a little bit. So to recap, the plan for world domination. Step 1, get used to rejection. Step 2, bet on yourself. And step 3 is kind of simple. You just have to repeat step 1 and 2 over and over and over, and eventually you're actually gonna surprise yourself. You're gonna create some momentum, and you actually might achieve world domination. Great, you set out and got your goal. But I actually need you graduates to make me a promise tonight. If you do achieve some success, your world domination that you're out seeking tonight, I ask you one thing, and you just promise me that you are still kind and compassionate. I met a bunch of you beforehand. I know your guys' hearts. You are a kind group of people. You are an amazing group of people, and you should keep that kindness. We have a calling. You heard the 160 chapels. We're called to something higher than just success here in the earth. Jesus calls us to love people. And today, more than ever, out in the world, people don't want to be judged. They don't need to be trampled over while you're trying to get ahead for yourself. We need more people to show the love that Jesus showed us. So I'm so excited that you're leaving here, pursuing your dreams, and you're going to be great out there. I'm rooting you guys on, but just be sure to look out for others. This is a step, if I'm honest with you guys, I struggled with for a long time. I hustled and worked alone in that garage for many years, and the time came for me to start hiring people, to build a team, and I had to learn to work together. Some of you are people, and you're like, this doesn't make sense. Like, that's so easy, it comes natural for you. Oh, cool. But for me, it was really hard. And to not just learn how to be a good boss or a team player, but I had to ask myself, what does it mean to genuinely serve others besides getting what I want in the world? If you want to learn those things quicker, I have a little hack. You just have to, it's actually really easy, just surround yourself with people who already do this. In my life, that was a girl I met in mock rock. You guys can shout for mock rock, it was really cool. Did anybody compete in mock rock this year? Let's go. Rachel was the first girl Rachel was the only girl to give me her real cell phone number at Biola. And now, after all these years, we're working on our 10th year, babe, shout out, of marriage. And really, because of her kindness and patience and love of Jesus, some of that has rubbed off on me over the years. One last thing before you're officially commenced. I have a little story that I started sharing with my 3 young kids, a little parable. There once was a farmer walking down a path, and he finds this eagle egg. And he takes the egg, he puts it in the nest with the backyard hen, and pretty soon the eagle hatches and the chick grows up with them. And all of his life, the eagle does what the chickens do. He clucks around the backyard, he pokes around the dirt looking for little worms and insects, and he flies a couple feet in the air, but then lands on the ground just like chickens do. And as time passes, the eagle grows very old, and one day he sees something way above him up in the sky, and the thing just glides majestically above. And he goes, "What's that?" And another chicken turns to him and responds like, "Oh, that's the king of all the birds. That's the master of the skies. But, we belong on the ground like chickens. Don't worry about him. You'll never be that." And that eagle lived and died a chicken because that's what he thought he was. And as I'm looking out in your faces, I realize that's a really sad story to end on. Listen, I like how a wise philosopher once put it. This is what Yoda said. In this war, a danger there is of losing who we are. Graduates, you've had some incredible professors over the years who have poured into your life. Professor Joanne Jung had a big impact on my life. I saw you over there, Professor Jung. You're gonna make me cry. In her class, we memorized Colossians 3, which we had the scripture reading. It stayed with me all these years. Because you were raised with Christ, set your minds on things above, not on things on the earth. Over the next few weeks, you guys are gonna have an incredible time. People are gonna come up to you, they're gonna congratulate you. They're gonna say, "Congrats, the world is your oyster." And that's awesome if you don't have a shellfish allergy. But just remember, you guys, that the world, the things that are here, they're not forever. Set your mind on things above and remember who you are. You guys are eagles. To the class of Biola 2024, you are eagles. Remember it, don't forget it, so fly like eagles.